Hello, my name is Shannon Pitt, and I am currently a freshman at Roger Williams University. This semester, I'm enrolled in Art and Architectural History 122. For our final project, I've decided to make a video that analyzes 3 different works of art. The 3 works I chose to analyze for this assignment were Carrie Young's Declared Void from 2005, Claude Monet's Sailboats on the Basin at Argenteuil, and Roy Lichtenstein's Pyramids 2. I chose these 3 works because they visually enticed me, and I feel that they represent their art period very effectively. The first piece of art that I'd like to discuss is Roy Lichtenstein's Pyramids 2 from 1969. An American artist, Lichtenstein lived from 1923 to 1997. This particular piece was done with oil and magnet acrylic paint on a canvas roughly 38 inches by 68 inches. I viewed this piece at the RISD Museum of Art, where the piece was purchased with funds from the National Endowment for the Arts. According to the RISD Museum website, Lichtenstein's work blurs the line between high art and mass-produced popular art. He's known for his early comic book paintings from the beginning of the pop art movement, as he was previously a comic book artist. He illustrates in paint the colored Ben-Day dot screens that commercial lithography used to reproduce and print images. After his series on Egypt's pyramids of Giza, Lichtenstein turned to art historical subjects. Pyramids 2 exemplifies his trademark use of primary colors, in this case only black, white, and yellow with simplified outlined images. Notice the thick black outlines that separate a vibrant yellow ground from the sky and pyramids, along with the flat panels of enlarged black dots, paradoxically suggesting 3-dimensional shading. I chose to examine Pyramids 2 as one of my 3 art pieces because I find the piece very interesting. It's very characteristic of some pop art movements, with the Ben-Day dots and the thick black lines. Notice how Lichtenstein also chooses a subject matter that isn't stereotypical. Modern art and contemporary art, which is the time period he falls under, tends to choose art that is not really typical. The artist wants to shock the viewer. It seemed to most modern artists that in order to get an audience and to get a lot of viewers, you needed to produce art that truly shocked the world. Choosing an old historical subject such as the Pyramids of Giza allowed Lichtenstein to do so. This image also interests me because compositionally it is relatively simple. It's not very difficult to complete. However, the piece is very dynamic, which stems from the use of diagonals in the pyramids. The next piece I'd like to discuss was completed in 2005 by Carrie Young and entitled Declared Void. According to the RISD Art Museum, Carrie Young explores current political, social, and ethical issues by focusing on increased commercialization in both personal and public domains. Inspired by historical conceptual art movements and institutional critique strategies, this London-based artist investigates legal and corporate cultures and appropriates their language in order to reveal their influence on our daily lives, as well as the art world. Commonly made through consultation and participation with various legal, sociological, and corporate experts, Young's multidisciplinary works, videos, photography, and installations often depict the artist herself and/or require the viewer's interaction. This particular exhibition, Declared Void, features a selection of the artist's videos and works in other media. I chose to investigate Declared Void because I find a beautiful irony in the piece. The installation itself is a box outlined on the walls and floor that creates a void and has text next to it that reads, "By entering the zone created by this drawing, and for the period you remain there, you declare and agree that the U.S. Constitution will not apply to you." I found this piece extremely interesting because of the irony that's created between the text and the visual. Visually, walking into the void does not affect a viewer physically. However, should one decide to base their entrance into the void on the text, walking into the void creates a zone where one is not protected and is entirely vulnerable. The U.S. Constitution protects all citizens and guarantees rights. By entering this void, one gives up all rights, liberties, and protections by the government. A contemporary piece, this piece exemplifies a modern artist's attitudes with regards to the boundaries of art and the effects art can have. Modern and contemporary art began to show the world that art doesn't need to be 2D or made with paint or a sculptural masterpiece. Contemporary art showed the world that the definition of art is up to the viewer. This was first seen with Marcel Duchamp's Ready-Mades in the early 1900s. Young's installation shows that art can have multiple functions. I think that Young is implying that art's powers are limitless. In this piece, Young shows how art can affect liberties, something that is normally only controlled by the government, but now art has taken a hold of. The last piece I would like to discuss is by Claude Monet, a French painter who lived from 1840 through 1926. The piece I've chosen was completed in 1874 and called Sailboats on the Basin at Argentoul. It is an oil-on canvas that is approximately 21 inches by 29 inches and was given to the RISD Museum as an anonymous gift. During the 1870s, Monet rented a house in Argentoul, a riverside village northwest of Paris that provided ample subjects for his studies of natural light and atmospheric effects. The Seine was wide and deep at this location, a favored one for sailing regattas and pleasure boating alluded to in this painting. On the far bank of the basin at Argentoul, near a shady promenade, a former ferryman's house had been turned into a café. Monet observed the view from a spot on the island of Petit Geneviève, capturing the shimmering reflections of modern sailing boats. He then cropped the composition to exclude the nearby railroad bridge and any signs of the industrial structures that were encroaching on this idyllic setting. Monet is the epitome of the Impressionist period, characterized by artists such as Monet, Manet, and Renoir. Impressionist painters made attempts at capturing the moment, and their paintings tend to be characterized by rushed, thick brushstrokes. The scene, very picturesque, is enhanced by the blended colors and earthy tones. I find this piece interesting because of the subject matter. If you had the ability to capture any moment in time, why choose sailboats? Was Monet attempting to portray a scene of serenity and tranquility? Could the sailboats possibly have held a deeper meaning for him personally? Though I'll never know, I like trying to think about what was going through Monet's mind as he painted. I also like this painting because of the quality of the brushstrokes, as are characterized by the Impressionist period. The thick oil paint makes the painting become almost three-dimensional as it comes off the page, and therefore makes the painting more realistic. This concludes my video lecture on the three pieces by Carrie Young, Claude Monet, and Roy Lichtenstein. All three of the works I've discussed can be viewed at the Rhode Island School of Design Museum in Providence, Rhode Island. I hope that this video has enticed you to learn more about art history and explore the deeper meanings behind art. Thank you for watching.